Well, hello and welcome. I'm Misheard with Misheard Song Lyrics Podcast. We're in season 4, episode 160. Need to do a shout out to Deanna Smith from Herkimer, New York for this Misheard Song Lyric Gem. It's on Jody Watley's song Looking for a New Love. And per Deanna, I'm quoting her right now. When I was younger, if I didn't listen to it closely, I thought she was singing Nude Love. I personally think of Jody Watley as sort of an underrated artist and isn't as remembered for her incredible dance choreography like similar artists like Paula Abdul and Janet Jackson. I couldn't agree more. So the song is regarding Jody Watley's Looking for a New Love, and the misheard song lyric is, I'm looking for a new love, baby. And then the correct lyrics is, I'm looking for a new love, baby. Hey, all of us are looking for some, not only new love, but hopefully nude love. So yes. So thank you, Deanna. This is a great one. So first of all, I love me some Jody Watley and her big hoop earrings that have come back in style in 2022. I, in fact, just purchased some several months ago, so I'm going to be whipping those out sometime soon. But you have to be careful because, again, big hoop earrings. You don't want them to be caught on anything. Ouch. So you'll find out after all the research that I've done that, yes, I agree with Deanna Smith that Jody Watley is an influencer. She brought high fashion mixed with street style along with her signature hoop earrings to the mainstream. Also, she did some fashion magazine features, ad campaigns. She actually did a 1 million selling fitness video that I didn't know, but I'm not surprised. And the first Black woman on the cover of a Japanese fashion magazine, and a style of branding and image now common in the music industry. So she is definitely an artist that we need to be talking about. All right, so let's start with Looking for a New Love or Nude Love. It's a song by American dance pop singer Jody Watley. It was released back in January of 1987 as the first single from her debut album. The song became one of the biggest pop and R&B singles of 1987. Yours truly was a mere 15. All right, not driving yet, but getting close. And then she actually re-recorded it and reissued the song in various remixes, very smart, in 2005. So who is Miss Jody Watley? She was born Jody Vanessa Watley back on January 30th, 1959. So she is an Aquarius, I think. She is obviously an American singer, songwriter, record producer, artist, as well as dancer. And her music crosses over lots of genres, not only pop, R&B, but also jazz, dance, and electronic soul. Very talented lady. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, she was actually a member of the R&B funk band Shalimar. Did not know that. Remember them? Shalimar did that song, Dancing in the Sheets. That was in the Footloose soundtrack, which is awesome. And she was part of them. And then they scored many hits. Notably, they say in the UK, she did. And then in 1988, she actually won the Grammy Award for Best New Artist as a solo artist. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And has been nominated for 3 Grammy Awards. So in 2008, she was also the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from Billboard magazine and was also featured in a historic Black issue of Vogue Italia in 2008. She's beautiful. And then in December 2016, Billboard ranked her as the 21st most successful dance artist of all time. And then in 2017, Black Music Honors TV special recognized Watley as a crossover music icon, honorary for her groundbreaking achievements and influence. Then, in August of 2018, Billboard ranked Jody Watley as one of the top female artists of all time at number 53. And then recently in March of 2021, she was named the first ambassador of the National Museum of African American Music. And then in 2022, boy, she's a busy lady. Just this year, Jody Watley received an honorary doctorate in business and Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from Joe Biden at Jody Watley Day at Georgia State Capitol, and she was inducted to the Women's Songwriter Hall of Fame. You go, Jody Watley, and your hoop earrings. All right, let's see how it all began with her magic. So in early life, she's actually was born in Chicago, Illinois, beautiful city in the U.S., for those of you that are listening outside of the United States. Did you know that she actually made her first stage appearance at a young age of 8 years old with a family friend and godfather, Jackie Wilson? So, you know some famous people. She got her start on the TV dance show Soul Train at the age of 14. That's where it all began. She was also voted Best Dancer by her senior class poll at Dorsey High School. They got that right. And it was documented by Ebony magazine in 1977 as part of the quote-unquote the new generation. Jody Watley was one of the most popular dancers on the show. and recognized as a trendsetter for her style and dance moves, which will take her far a long way when you hear more about this. As a standout on the Soul Train television show, Jody Watley and fellow Soul Train dancer Jeffrey Daniel were selected to join Gary Mumford and become original members, like I said earlier, of the R&B group Shalimar, which I just found out today, by show creator Don Cornelius. Mumford, of course, was shortly replaced by Gerald Brown, and Brown himself was soon replaced by Howard Hewitt as lead vocalist. So as things go, lots of change. The lineup of Hewitt, Watley, and Daniel would be the most successful. Watley remained with Shalimar from 1977 to 1983, and the band released several albums and scored several hits, including the U.S. Top 20 Dead Giveaway and the R&B hits The Second Time Around, For the Lover in You, and A Night to Remember. And of course, like any band, there were conflicts and disagreements with artistic direction of Shalimar with this Dick Griffey and lack of payment, yikes, from Solar Records. So finally, Jody's like, you know what, I'm bouncing. So in 1983, she left the group prior to their release of the Look album. After Shalimar, she did pretty good in 1984. Watley moved to England, and there she recorded a guest vocal with British Jamaican roots reggae group Musical Youth for their album Different Style. She also recorded with Gary Langan and Ann Dudley and JJ, I don't know how to say it, Jekzalek, who later became Art of Noise. She also had a brief stint with Phonogram Records, where 2 singles were released in the UK, Europe, and Australia, though not in America. And it was under the moniker just Jody, like Madonna. No Watley, just Jody. And Where the Boys Are and Girls Night Out were the other songs. Did you know, also during this era, after departing from Shalimar, she took part in Bob Geldof's Band Aid. I did not know that. Recording that song, Do They Know It's Christmas? It's Christmas Time. Remember that song? I bought the cassette. That included Bono, Boy George, Sting, George Michael, Phil Collins, and many others like Bananarama that were prominent in the UK artists. So she was part of that because she was in Europe at that time. Did not know that. So fast forward, while she's in Europe doing her solo career, after 2.5 years there, she returns back to America, and she actually secures a recording deal with MCA Records, eager to establish her own identity, which she does. So her debut solo studio album titled Jody Watley, which I think I still have that cassette somewhere in a box, but I remember purchasing it, was released back in March of 1987, and she co-wrote 6 of the album's 9 songs. I mean, very talented lady. In an interview with Rolling Stones, she said that she wanted to showcase her voice against the really funky hard dance tracks, which she did. The album's lead singer, which is the song we're talking about today, Looking for a New Love, became a hit and was certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America, or also known as the RIAA. The album itself peaked at number 10 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B hip-hop albums chart, and sold about 2 million copies in the U.S. and a total of 4 million copies worldwide. Remember, back then, you couldn't download anything. You had to buy the cassette or the vinyl by yourself, walk to your local, record store and buy it. So that's amazing. It produced 5 up-tempo dance and R&B singles that charted on the Billboard Hot 100, with 3 peaking with the top 10. One of them, Looking for a New Love, was at number 2. So close to number 1. Still a Thrill at number 56. Don't You Want Me, number 6. Some Kind of Lover, number 10. Number 60th, Most of All. Also included on our debut album was a duet with George Michael. I forgot about that. Called Learn to Say No, produced by Bernard Edwards of Chic fame. I need to download that so I can hear it. Did you also know that at the 30th Annual Grammy Awards in 1988, Watley won the award for Best New Artist, obviously, and was nominated for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. So her star is rising. That same year, she also received nominations for the MTV Video Music Award and the Soul Train Awards. Back to where she started. So I had mentioned earlier that after she left Shalimar, she had released 2 singles under the name of just Jody without her last name, even though advertisements in the UK pop magazine Smash Hits mentioned that she was formerly of Shalimar. This technicality of not using her second name, Watley, allowed her controversially to be considered a new artist at the Grammys. She beat out Breakfast Club, Cutting Crew. Remember Cutting Crew? I just died in your arms tonight. And then Terrence Trent D'Arby, who I just did a couple episodes ago on Wishing Well, and Swing Out Sisters. Shortly after winning the Grammy, Watley would be featured in Harper's Bazaar's magazine, photographed by famous photographer Francesco Scavullo. So again, Star is Rising. Well, how did the song do? I told you it did quite well. Again, it hit number 2, but it stayed there for 4 consecutive weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 back in May of 1987, and then spent 3 weeks at number 1 at the Billboard R&B chart. I remembered it in the dance clubs. I danced to it, so it was popping. It was also one single between 1985 and 1990 in the U.S. to have spent 4 weeks in the runner-up position and never reach number 1. So always a bridesmaid, not a bride. But hey, if I was Jody Watley and it was still at number 2 for 4 weeks, I'd still take it. And then on the Hot 100, the single would get stuck between Cutting Crew's I Just Died in Your Arms. So I talked about them. She was up against them. Said, haha, she won them against them on the Grammy, but just never could beat them out for the number 1 spot. And also behind U2's With or Without You for 2 weeks each. And during its run atop the then Black Singles, Club Nouveau's Hot 100 number 1 single, Lean on Me, was stuck behind Looking for a New Love for those same 3 weeks. So here is Looking for a New Love at number 2, trying to beat out Cutting Crew's I Just Died in Your Arms and U2's With or Without You, with Club Nouveau right behind her. So lots of great songs at that time. It also ranked number 16 on Billboard's year-end chart for 1987, and it also song did quite well in Canada. It reached number 1 at the RPM singles chart in Canada. So in Canada, she hit number 1 with it. And then 1988, the song was nominated, like I said, for 2 Soul Train Music Awards for Best R&B Soul or Rap Music Video and Best R&B Single Female. She was nominated for a Grammy Award, like I said, for Best R&B Female Vocal Performance, but did not win for that, but won for Best New Artist. What's the song about? Well, we have our thoughts, but which it was shared here on the internet as well. Listening, she said, to a tape of instrumental tracks given to her by her producer, Andre Simone, she started to reflect on her recent sour romantic breakup. Like I said, always write with what you know, because it comes through, right? So she said, fusing her own feelings of I'll show you with this feel of the track, which this is how that song feels like. I'm looking for a new love, baby, and she's moving on. She also came up with the basic premise of what was about looking for a new love. The released record is the 8-track demo of the song, the way the emotional urgency of Watley's vocal was still intact. And then here's a big did you know. I did not know this till today too. One of the song's key phrases became a popular saying. So she like whisper sings, hasta la vista, baby. It ends up being used in many, of course, answering machines, but famously by Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1991 Terminator 2 Judgment Day when he says it. So Arnie got it from Miss Jody Watley. So there you go. What about the video? Have you seen it lately? Looking for a New Love? Well, it's pretty good. They say here online it made a conscious decision to use fashion to help her express her vision, wearing clothes and accessories from designers such as Issey Miyake and Philip Tracy, who's known for, if you don't know who Philip Tracy, for a lot of the amazing hats and fasteners he makes for the royal family, as well as like Lady Gaga and what have you. So the music video was directed by Brian Grant, released in March of 1987 to promote the song. Now Grant was also known for making videos for Whitney Houston, Peter Gabriel, and my favorite, Miss Tina Turner. And when you look at this video in 2022, seriously, it could totally be made during this year with the fashion revive. Even 34 years later, it looks like it's a new video. So she was way ahead of her time. And then in 1990, Watley would continue to be involved with fashion. On her second album, she was also photographed by fashion photographer Stephen Meisel, where she continued to make her own style statements. In the videos Real Love, Watley would introduce a higher fashion aesthetic, blending vintage and custom designs. And then Friends, her song Friends, was used mixed couture by Jean-Paul Gaultier with an urban sensibility. She's also gorgeous too. Hello, of all people to be wearing your fashions, Jody Watley would be one of them. She also released, like I said earlier, a million-selling home video called Dance to Fitness. She was featured in the first celebrity ad campaign for Gap. She also did some ad work for LA Eyeworks, which I have several pairs of their glasses, and I love it. And in a magazine such as Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, Vogue Italia, Rolling Stone's Essence, and Vanity Fair. And no surprise, she was named one of the 50 most beautiful people back in 1990 for People. In the same year, she was also a contributor to jazzy rendition of After You Who, the compilation album Red Hot plus Blue, an AIDS awareness charity recording of songs by Cole Porter, produced by the Red Hot organization. So also likes to give back. And then Watley was photographed by Victor Sobrensky for the Saks Fifth Avenue Divining Style Fall Catalog, where she appeared in a 15-page high fashion layout in 1996. I got to Google that because I want to see those images. And then in 2006, Watley would walk the runway with designer Kevin Hall for LA Fashion Week. The style icon is also noted on influence on contemporary designers like Milan Breton, contemporary A. Potts, whose Spring-Summer 2021 collection was inspired by Watley, and countless uncredited trends in contemporary style. She also left a legacy. So here's some cool stuff I found out. So T-Boz of TLC also cited that Watley's song Still a Thrill as an example setting her vocal tone for her singing career. Now, I love me a T-Boz because she's like me. She has a very deep voice. So I can see why she's like, all right, there's another lady that can sing this low register. In a personal video T-Boz sent to Watley, she thanked Watley for the song during her teenage years, citing she was, quote unquote, hitting them notes and helping her sing at a lower register to better suit her vocal range. And during this time, fellow TLC member Lisa Left Eye Lopez, bless her heart, rest in peace, was seen in a video pre-TLC, so before they hit it big, dancing to Watley's songs Friends, which Watley acknowledged during one of her concerts. So she has definitely made her mark. But here's another one I did not know. Part of her legacy was to Selena. Remember Selena, who's also, rest her soul. She had indicated way back when that she was influenced by Watley's song, the song we're talking about today, Looking for a New Love, as the reason she wanted to cross over to the English language market, which she did with that beautiful song, and that got her career going, and of course, unfortunately, tragically, was shot by her crazy manager. So, or actually fan club lady. Selena also performed the song in concert, which was notably documented in her Netflix biodrama. So wow, she, not only did all her fashion, known for her contributions, her songwriting, but left a great legacy with many artists that have done well after her. So I just love you, Jody Watley, and thanks for the shout out from our listener, Deanna Smith from Herkimer, New York. Thank you, and hopefully someone will find their nude love. So until then, keep singing those songs wrong. Bye.